Hi everyone, this is a very special episode of the show, The Reason You Were Broke. In this episode, I was invited by a group of ladies to give a talk on money. They are a group called Coaching for African Women, but they're all over the world. So, the person interviewing me in the show today, her name is Nafisah, and she is a life coach. I hope you enjoy it, and remember to like and subscribe.
I know we're not giving up today because I really don't know why I couldn't stream the live on via Zoom just as we planned. I really don't know why. Yeah, so
Mhm.
we'll just have to make do with this one and we'll download the video afterwards.
I guess.
Yeah. So thank you so much for coming. Really, thank you for honoring our invitation on behalf of Coach Bella, Tendai, Kanyisa, and Coach Umpo. Yeah, so we had this plan to invite you over because we've been seeing your videos all around Facebook on finances, and just like we were discussing earlier, the three topics that are the least discussed, they're kind of avoided, and they're the most important: death, sex, and money. And the thing
Yeah.
is, these are the most important topics that keep us moving every single day. So here we are with our financial coach, Coach Ida, and it's lovely having you here. And today's topic is all about where does your money go. And so tell us a bit about yourself and why you are on this path of financial coaching.
Okay, amazing. So I'm very happy that you reached out to me to come on this call to talk to people about finances. I'm very passionate about it. A little bit about myself. I'm a mom. I have three amazing kids. It's the oldest is 8 and the youngest is 3 years old. Um, I'm married. I live here in Canada, and I have been here for the past 11 years. It's 11 years I've been in Canada right now. My background is in accounting, so my bachelor's degree is in accounting, and that's what I do here right now in Canada. I work in accounting. I own an accounting firm, but I also work for somebody else as an accountant in their company. You all already know that I'm a financial coach, but the part you don't know is that I also fell into the traps that are designed by a system that we don't understand. So getting
Wow.
into debt myself, falling into the traps. Because the thing is, I have my background is in accounting, but I fell into the traps. It's very normal. Every other person could. Like if I could fall into those traps, even though I knew better, what about people who don't even know? So I'm out right now trying to educate people to get information to them, information that is actually out there that a lot of people don't look for, or a lot of people don't even know to look for. So that's why I got into coaching. That's why am dedicating my time to talk to people about their money.
Wow. Because like
Yeah.
when you're talking, can I just say this? When you're talking, it sounds like you're talking from your heart, from experience. And what better way to coach people than when you came out of experience? Like you're not just doing it as something you went to school for example. You had the
Yeah.
experience and you were able to overcome, and now you're here to open the doors for others. And that is beautiful, I must say. Yeah, so thank you so much. And
Thank you.
the next question I want to ask you actually is, I use this ideal way because I believe that when we're able to know the ideal way of doing something, that way, whatever we do as a result of it, we can measure up to the ideal way. That doesn't mean we'll be 100%, but then we keep learning and know that
Yeah.
we have like a benchmark. So the question is, yeah, how awareness is really beautiful. So the question here is, what is the ideal way to spend money?
The ideal way to spend money is to plan before you spend it. And that's why I talk about budgeting. If you want to spend money, you need to first plan that that's what you're going to do, and then you go ahead and do it. But most people don't do that. Most people spend on impulse. Most people just never take the time to say, why do I spend money the way I do? A lot of people never do that. So people go out every day, they do a job, they earn a lot of money. But at the end of the month, when they look at it, they don't see, you don't have any change left in your bank account, or you don't even know where your money went. But you earned a lot of money in a month. So you sit back and you say, okay, but where did my money go? But for most people, it ends there. You're frustrated because you don't see any of the money that you work, you don't see any of it. And that frustration just drives you to say, you know what, I need to go and earn more, or I need to go and find a better job. But you need to stop and say, but why? Why why am I spending the way that why am I spending money the way that I am doing right now? What can I do differently in order to make sure that all the money that I'm working is actually going to places that I need it to go to? And the best way to do that is through a budget. We hear it said every single time, budget, 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 and it's just become like something that everybody says. You just say it, but when you start to do it, when you start to do it, you see it different. You see it different for your money. You see it different for your finances, and you feel like you're in control.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Oh my God. So it's just about, you talked about the impulse buying.
Yes.
Please, can you shed more light on that?
I'm gonna go from my experiences.
Yeah,
Let me
I
go
want to
from
know.
my
Yeah.
experiences. It looks like I didn't turn off my notifications. 1 second, please.
Okay, that's fine. Oh yeah, and Coach Kanye said budgeting.
So impulse buying, there's one thing that we all do. I don't know how it is in the UK and in Europe and in the rest of the countries, but in North America, everybody has a car payment. Almost everybody has a car payment because if I go with my experiences, my first car that I bought, I paid cash for it. That was me coming straight from Africa, and I needed a car in order to drive around, like to do things for the convenience of it. I needed a car. But my second car was just because I saw it, it looked nice.
Mm-hmm.
I could
Hmm.
afford to finance the car. So I went
I
ahead and I
see.
got it. My third car, I didn't need to get a third car. My third car, okay, my second car was starting to have a little bit of troubles, and I was beginning to spend a lot of money in the mechanics and all of that. So I said, you know what, instead of spending all this money and I need to go do this, I need to go do that, let me get a newer car. So we went to the dealership and we got a newer car. Well, not newer, a new car, brand new. I tore the paper off of it. Why did
Wow.
I do that? The dealership told me, well, you're planning to spend this much on monthly payments. But if you took a newer car, your monthly payment will be slightly lower. But the point is, it's lower because it's spread over 7 years instead of over 5 years that an older car would be spread over. It's spread over 7 years. It makes it
Mm.
lower. That was my third car, and that was a brand new car. The big impulse buying for me was the fourth car I bought. Another brand new car, and I upgraded that because the car seats couldn't fit properly in the car the way I wanted to. I said, you know what? My car seats don't fit well. And my husband and I would just said, you know what? Let's go get a new car. And we did. We never stopped to think. We never stopped to say, okay, can 2 years down the road when the kids are a little bit bigger and we don't need to fit 3 car seats in the road, are we still going to be needing this thing? So we
True.
never stopped to say, do we actually need it? Do we, how much is it going to cost us in total? Can we find another way to make it happen? Or do we really need this thing that we're going out to buy? So for me, my biggest financial mistake ever was buying brand new cars, was in cars and buying brand new cars. I'm buying two in a row. That was
Mm.
my biggest. Most people go into this thing of impulse buying because for one, they have access to cash or they have access to credit, which is
Uh-huh.
really big in North America. They have access to credit. You walk into a dealership or you walk into a store and the stuff on sale,
I see.
and you have, if you had cash, if you only had the money physically available in your bank account, you would think twice before going out to buy that thing.
Yeah.
But here in North America, it's very common for people to buy above because they have access to credit. They have two, three, four credit cards with like $10,000 limits on the credit card, and you're thinking, okay, I can afford it, but you can't. You can't. So the main thing why people go impulse buying here in North America is because they have access to credit and two, because they don't plan, and
Mm.
three, because they've never formed the discipline to ask themselves those deep questions of why are you doing those things you're doing? Is it to impress people, or is it because you need it?
Yeah.
You're just trying to keep up. Yeah. So it
Mm.
really goes. Yeah, it really goes with those things.
Those are some good questions. I hope you have your pens and pads over there because right now I'm trying to cram everything, but I know that's not possible. So I'm going to repeat what you said before I read out what Judith said. Okay, let me just read it out now. Actually, she said impulse buying is the number one killer of our finances. No planning, no second thoughts, totally on emotion. And Judith, I think you just nailed it right on the spot based on what Coach Ida said just now. And Coach Kanye said the same in South Africa. People living in debt uh, because they don't act. They don't act their wage. Yeah. And then Mulu said, "Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
completely agree
yeah.
with
That's a good
you."
one.
Yes, I completely agree with
That's a good
you.
one. Yeah.
The people, they shouldn't buy things if they're not afraid. I personally, I don't buy. Yeah. And I know Mulu. I know she's someone who doesn't buy on impulse. Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much for that. And Coach Bella is excited. Yes, I'm excited as well because I want to repeat what you said about discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Discipline is so important. The impulse buying. So, what would be impulse versus what? Could it be considerate buying or what? What would you advise if
Planned,
someone says something they like?
planned,
Okay.
planned, which comes back to budgeting. Let me, the kind of budget that I encourage people to make, because people would say, I budget, I budget, I budget, but do you really budget? Meaning
True
that,
that.
meaning that in a month, you're going to get, let me use round numbers. Say in a month, you're going to make $3,000. How do you plan to spend every single dollar of those $3,000? An actual budget assigns a task to every single one of those dollars down to the penny. So when you
Hmm.
make such a plan, when you make such a plan, that's called a zero-based budget. When you make such a plan with a zero-based budget, meaning all your inflow is accounted for, like all your inflow minus all your outflows goes
I
down to
see.
zero, and you've assigned a task to every single thing. When you do that, it takes care of the impulse, because your impulse, if if it was part of the list of things that you had written down that this is what I'm going to spend, then it's no longer impulse.
Mm.
But if it wasn't in that list, and then you go out and you go ahead and make the purchase, that's completely on impulse, and you didn't even plan for that. So impulse buying, the cure for it, I would say, it's less about discipline, because discipline comes down to willpower. It really comes down to willpower, and willpower is like a muscle. It is like
I
a
see.
muscle. The more you exercise it, well, not like a muscle, because a muscle, the more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. But willpower, it kind of, it goes two ways.
I understand
Say,
what you
for
mean.
example, if you put somebody here and you say, this is a bowl of chocolate, don't eat it. It takes willpower to not eat that bowl of chocolate. But then the second bowl of chocolate, the next thing you're telling them not to do, you say, you can't go outside. Now the person gets angry because you've told them so many things not to do. It took willpower. They kind of depleted on the first set of things that they had to not do because of that willpower. So down the road, they're like, okay, you know what? I'm fed up. I'm going to do it anyway. What are you going to do to me? It goes in that direction. Our inner selves, everybody has this kind of inner kid in them who wants to do what is feels good for them. So if you're just
Yeah.
depending on discipline alone, sometimes it's going to fail you. But if you have a system to make sure that your plan gets executed, if you have a system, then the discipline kind of follows, because now you're trying to follow your system that you have established for yourself. And that
Wow.
system really comes from you budgeting and saying, you know what, I am going to follow my budget. And when I make a budget, if I have to break the budget, I know how I'm going to make up for it. So, meaning that if you have in a budget, you say you have $3,000 you're going to spend, your housing costs about 25% of that, to like $800, $900 that you're going to take in that. Within that amount, you've said, okay, I'm gonna have fun with $500. I'm gonna spend this much on clothing. I'm gonna spend this much on that. When you walk in to a shop, you know in your mind, I have $600 assigned to spending on myself. I'm going to use it any
I
way I
see.
want. I'm going to use it any
Mm-hmm.
way I want. There you've given yourself permission to go spend money, and you're not rioting with yourself. You're not fighting with yourself to say, I deserve this, I deserve that, because you planned for it.
Yeah.
When you don't plan for it and your money is just going, your money is going, your money is going, at some point you get fed up. You say, you know what, I'm doing this thing, so many things for every other person, and I don't do anything for myself, but I'm the one working the money. I'm going to spend anyway. But you're rioting with yourself, and you're putting yourself in a difficult position, in a position where
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, it's you who's going to suffer. It's not anybody else. It's you who's going to suffer, because you don't have the systems that are going to lead to the discipline that you need to form these new habits of getting intentional with your money.
Wow. Wow. Those are some gems right there. I hope, oh my God, everybody is agreeing with you right here, you know? Oh, yes. I don't even know where to start from. Oh my goodness, yeah. So, Coach
There's a
Kanye
comments
was
coming from
saying,
people.
yeah, she was just correcting. Yeah, she was saying, yeah, lol, yes, okay. Then
Mm,
Coach Kanye is saying, so happy we got this opportunity, Coach Ida. This is so important. Mulu says, for me, first is the food. So food matters
food.
first. Like you have a full
Mm,
fridge, you
yes.
have food in the house. I feel I agree with Mulu as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the food comes first.
Mm-hmm.
And Judith, once again, until you start writing down what you spend your money on and assigning it, you wouldn't stop impulse buying.
Yeah.
All the money has to be assigned for you to see you don't have the money to spend. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everyone is just enjoying this. Mulu said, I really enjoyed this topic, but I have to go now. Oh, thank you so much, Mulu. Yeah, so that was amazing because you mentioned that inflow and outflow. And at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, this is what takes care of the impulse. And then you talked about that willpower because at the end of the day, even when you write the inflow and outflow and you see maybe you have some extra, it takes willpower to stop you from spending it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what if I see something I love and I truly want to buy it and I know I have the money, but I don't want it, and I don't need it? How do I stop myself from buying it?
You don't need it,
Yeah.
but you have the money to buy it.
Yeah.
That should fall in the category of your fun budget. So if it falls on the things that, okay, I just want to have this thing. I do that sometimes. Sometimes I just say, you know what, I just want to buy a new. I'm really much into electronics sometimes. So I tell myself, I just want to buy this thing.
Hmm.
That's okay. You're treating yourself so long as you plan for it. So you control the stuff, you control the money. You're not letting stuff control you. You just want it because maybe you want something that looks nice, and that's okay to want them. You worked for the money. You have to treat yourself, and you need to plan for all those nice things that you want to get for yourself. It's good to plan for them
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, when you're depriving yourself so much, your system is going to riot. But
Hmm.
when you're planning for it and you tell yourself, every month or every 4 months or every 6 months, I'm going to splurge on myself, and you're putting money aside, knowing that this day I'm just going to go blow some money because I've planned for it, that's okay. Personally, years back, I stopped doing that a few years ago, but years back, what I used to do with my money was every Christmas, I used to get myself a gift, an expensive gift for myself. And the way I did that, I told myself it this every December. So during the year, I never it didn't I didn't spend a lot of money on lots of things because I tell myself, you know what, the thing I really want, not need, but the thing I just want to have because I'm gonna get it for myself in December. And I
Ah,
I I tell myself it's one thing, so make it count.
I see. Like
Yeah.
a
So
reward system.
it's a reward system that I set for myself. So every single month, I'm just putting something by the side, knowing, hey, either this is money you're gonna splurge on yourself at the end of the year. So I'm looking forward to it. And when it comes, I take the money. I'm not feeling guilty about it because I plan for it. It's for me. I deserve it, and I've kept the money for it. It's not something I need. It's just something I want. A few
Hmm.
years back, when digital cameras started being a thing, several years back, um, I think it cost me like more than half of my salary that I used to buy a digital camera, but I had planned for it. It
Yeah.
didn't take me into debt to do that. I didn't feel guilty about it. It wasn't impulse. I told myself I want to spend money on this thing. I put the money by the side every single month for it. In December, I took the money and I went and bought it and say, hey, this is your Christmas gift for yourself. And I did that. Because we end up buying gifts for everybody else.
Yeah.
And we're kind of penny picking when it comes to ourselves. And then at some point you just riot and say, okay, why am I doing it for everybody else and I can't do it for myself? And
Mm.
then you go out and do it. And it comes back to bite you because you just
Yeah.
deprived yourself. You just beat yourself in the butt and you went ahead and did something that you were against anyway. So you really need to plan, you really need to make a budget, you need to get intentional. So you're making these decisions for yourself and you're not just letting things happen to you out of impulse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I love how you said it, actually. Putting yourself first. So spending is not really about, okay, just keep all the money in the account and all of that, but also knowing when to treat yourself.
Yes.
At the end of the day, you are earning the money, so you should enjoy it,
Yes.
but in a way where you are not going broke.
Yeah. In a way where you are in control. In a
Yeah.
way where you are
Okay.
in control. A lot of people, just like you were talking about, money is one of those topics that people don't talk about because there's a lot of shame around it. Because sometimes you would go and you would splurge. I know ladies who buy like a $4,000 handbag and they're hiding it from their husbands
Hmm.
because you're ashamed. You're afraid because you know that that money could have been spent on something better as a family. You know certain things about that money, you know certain things about your situation as a family, and you're feeling guilty because you just took this money and you went and bought. There are ladies who are hiding shoes and handbags in their cars and they don't want their husbands to see them. But if
Wow.
you and your spouse were on the same page about finances and you guys know we are treating ourselves every December or we're treating ourselves every 6 months. This is the budget for that, and you're putting it by the side. When you finally go and buy the $4,000 handbag, you're excited about it. You're not hiding it.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it really treat yourselves, but intentional. Be intentional. Be honest. Be open, and you plan for it, and then it doesn't feel guilty. You don't feel guilty about doing those things anymore. You don't feel
Yeah.
guilty about money. You don't feel guilty about saying no to people. You don't feel guilty about any of those things. You don't. When you really plan and you know that this is my money, I plan to do this thing and I want to do it this way and I'm going to do it because I'm in control. Bottom line,
Yeah.
you're in control of it, of the situation. And it's not controlling you. Stuff don't have you. You have the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You have the money. Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. And I just said Dr. Tenta, I said, I never treat myself. My weakness are my kids. I can't say no to them. Do you have anything to
Oh,
say to her?
yes. How old are your kids? What age? Are they young kids? So under
No,
10, let me
I
just,
think
I don't know if I'm going to get an answer. Yeah, go ahead.
roughly, I think between 16 and 18, if I'm not mistaken. Tenda, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the thing
So
is,
average 16, yeah.
yeah, I know as parents, we want to give our kids all the things that money can buy. We want to give our kids lots of things that we didn't have growing up because we kind of feel guilty about our our upbringing. Sometimes I'm not saying that stand up, but I'm saying for some people they kind of feel guilty about or they feel bad about the way they were brought up and they want to go extra for their kids, which is a good thing, but it could really be a weakness if you don't stay in control of that. And
I
then at the
see.
same time, you might want to ask yourself, what am I teaching my kids? Am I teaching my kids that they can get everything they want? Or am I teaching them that in order to get something, you need to earn it? So you can definitely splurge on your kids, but you can set up like a reward system for them. You can tell them, okay, what is it you really want? The kid might say, I want a new iPhone, for example, because there's some kids who would say that, I want a new iPhone. And you say, okay, I'm going to splurge on you. I'm going to get you that for Christmas. But in exchange, you need to whatever you want. You need to get me X number of good grades. That's something that they now know when they're getting that thing from you in December, they earned it. You feel good because you're splurging, but in the process, you're teaching them something. You're splurging on your kids, but you're using that to teach them something. My kids are, they're under 10, so it's 3 to 8. The 3-year-old is
Oh,
still too young to understand any of that. But the 6-year-old and the 8-year-old, when I used to take them to the shop, at one point I detested taking my kids to the shop because I couldn't say no to them. And every time I took my kids to the shop, they would want a toy or they would want something.
mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
and I always bought those things. I always bought the things, and then I'll get home and the kids would use the toy for a couple of days, and then they throw it away. And then you're gonna get mad at yourself because you just bought that thing that they really, really wanted, but they're not even using it. So for me, at one point, I said, okay, part of the reason why I'm stressing out about money is because I'm not in control of all the things that are happening around me. Little things play a part in that. How much you're spending on your kids. Every single time you go to the shop, you want to treat them. Every single time. So my husband and I, we got a system. We said, you know what? We're going to teach our kids about money in a
Mm.
way that they will understand. We make them earn money. It's not a thing in our culture. So a lot of people are against me when I say that, but we make our kids earn money for simple things as getting good grades at school. You get good grades at school. Say if you have a good week at school, I give you like maybe $1 for the week, because just a reward. That's not like an allowance or anything, just a reward for you having this good week at school, and I'm not getting complaints from the teachers at all. So you're
Yeah.
working, excited about having a good week because you know at the end of the week you will get some money for
Mm.
that. I'm not paying you for that, but I'm using that as a reward system, which works in two ways. They're
Yeah.
learning that money is earned. They're learning that money is earned. And then now when they have that dollar, there are lots and lots of little things that they do around the house that earns them a few dollars here and there. At the end of the week or at the end of the month, they have a certain amount of money and it's for them. And I'm saying, when we go to the shop, you can use that money the way you want to. And you know what has
Bravo.
happened right now when we go to the shop, they don't ask me for things like they used to ask before. Because now they know.
Oh.
So they would say, Mommy, they'll say, Mommy, I want that toy. And I'll say, okay, how much money did you bring to the shop today? I brought $2, Mommy. I say, okay, go and check if the toy is $2. And they go and look at it and I say, oh, Mommy, it's $10. I can't afford it. And then they would not buy it. And they won't ask me to buy it, but they would go around and look for something that costs $2 and they would spend it. Or they would come back home and they'll say, okay, Mommy, next time
Ah.
can I bring $10? Next time can I bring $10? I say, go and check in your little bank and see if you have $10. And if they do, and I'll say, okay, so next time when we're going to the shop, plan to take your $10 and you go and buy the thing. But think again, is that really what you want? Because I know you were telling me you wanted to save up to buy roller skates. So do you want to buy this toy or do you want to buy roller skates? And most of the time they
Mm.
would sit back and think and say, you know what, Mommy, I really want roller skates. I'm not going to buy the toy.
I see.
Win,
Oh,
win,
that's
win,
amazing.
win,
Yeah.
win. I didn't spend my money to buy a toy. They are saving up to buy what they really, really want. And it's a
Mm-hmm.
win-win. And I'm not getting angry because there's trash piling up in my house. There's lots of toys that they're not even using. So
Wow.
yes, we want to
Yeah.
splurge on our kids, and it's good to do that, but teach them a lesson along the way. Use whatever it is
Mm-hmm.
you're, because
Yeah.
we are making financial mistakes because we didn't learn about those. And financial education should really start at home. It's not taught in schools. It should start at
That
home
is true.
because what we don't teach our kids, they will learn from the world. And you
Mm-hmm.
don't want the world teaching the kids about finances. I learned about finances from the world. I don't want my kids to make the
Yeah,
mistakes
I
I made.
think I did as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did as well. Yeah. Tendai said kids are so stingy with their money. They are. And I'm
Yeah.
just going to go back because I remember Judith commenting. Oh yeah, so thank you for that awesome advice from Tendai. She just said that, and yeah, that was
Okay.
amazing. Thank you so much because yeah, we didn't even plan to talk about kids, but see, here we are because
Yeah.
well, most of us are mothers here, and the thing is that a lot of mothers know how to spend on their kids, but depending
Never
on how
on
it's
themselves.
themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was amazing. Thank you. And yeah, so what are some, before we allow you, because I know you have a busy day ahead of you, how do you build wealth? So how can you balance between spending and building?
So you need to have a plan. The first thing is you need to have a long-term goal. You have your someday goal. Someday, what is it you want to do? Someday, what is it you want to be? And you have to make it very specific. You can't say someday I want to have money. $1 is money, $10 is money, $1 million is money. You have to be very specific about what it is you want someday and put a number to it. And you start asking yourself, what is it that is going to take for me to get there? You put it down and you ask yourself, what do I have to be doing within a year to make sure that my 5-year goal is met and to make sure that my 20-year goal or my someday goal is met. So you start from that outside in. You look at the big picture. What is it you want to be doing someday? I've heard people say, I want to retire by the time I'm 50. That's a goal for some people. And retirement, again, retirement is not an age, it's a number. For you, what would it take for you to, and retirement simply means that you're not working for money, meaning that you don't need your job, your everyday 9 to 5 or whatever. You don't need that to provide the money that you need to live the rest of your life. So what is that number that you need to be, that you need to have in order for you to start living that life? Oh, let me put it in another way. If there's somebody who wants to say, who will say, for example, by the time I'm 50, I want to not be working for anybody else. And at that time, I'm so passionate about caring for orphans, for example. So at that time, what I want to do with my time is dedicating all my energy, all my efforts to caring for orphans. That's what you want to do in
Yeah.
retirement. What has to be
Mm,
true so that by the time I'm 50, I have enough money to not need my job so that at that point I can retire and I can start doing this thing that I've always wanted to do someday. Be specific with
mm,
that. So it means you have to have enough money to take care of that dream you're talking about. That's the 50-year goal, or the goal when you're 50. What has to be true today? What can you do today to make sure that that goal is met? What can you do within 1 year? And what should you be doing this very hour to make sure that your goal for the week is met, and to make sure that your goal for the year is met, and to make sure your goal for 10 years is met, so that your 50-year goal can be met? So outside in, be specific, put it down. For most people, we don't even think about that because we're stressed out about the day to day. You're
yeah.
thinking about, how do I pay my bills today? How do I make sure my minimum payments are met? How do I make sure that if I lose my job, I have food to keep eating? So first, you're taking care of your four walls, which is food, shelter, clothing, transportation. You need to make sure that those are all being taken care of. And your biggest wealth building tool essentially is your income right now. It's your income. If you spend all your income, you don't have any change left to start putting towards your long-term goal. So it starts with today, which is your budget. You you need to pay yourself first. But if you're in debt, forget about paying yourself first. You need to get out of debt because you've
Mm,
dug yourself in the hole. If you're in debt, you're in a hole. You need to get here to start going up.
I see. Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully we're all here. If we're not all here and you're here, you need to do something to get here.
Mm,
And then if you're here, meaning zero debt, you should be paying yourself first, putting aside at least 15% of your income every single month, just putting it aside towards your long-term goal.
at least 15%, you
At
said.
least 15% of your income. You're saving it towards a retirement goal, towards something you're going to be investing, something that's going to be generating income for you. For some people, that's in real estate. For some people, that's in mutual funds. For some people, there are lots of things. But the advice with investment is that invest in something you understand.
Mm,
If you understand chickens, invest in chickens, meaning you're investing in a chicken farm back in your country, where so you're doing something that you understand. If you
yeah.
understand cars and you want to sell vintage cars and not whatnot, invest in that. If you understand fishing, that's what you're investing in. So invest in things that you understand. Your 15% of your income is being set aside to make sure that that goal is being met. Because say you're investing in real estate, for example, meaning you've bought some houses and the people who are paying you rent. As they're paying you rent, you're paying off the houses. At some point, those houses are paid off. So all the income that is coming to
Yeah.
you is yours to. That's a long-term goal. It starts with making sure you have the income right now to start putting aside so that that goal can happen. If you invest in a real estate right now and it's a, say for example, it's a 25-year mortgage, you know in 25 years that house will be paid off. In 25 years, you don't need to be working anymore because all the income coming from that house is going to take care of you and you can do whatever it is you want to do with your time.
Yeah. Coach Bella
So that
said,
long
is
term
it advisable to invest? Is it advisable to invest through banks?
in like things like mutual funds and stuff like that, you could, but it's best to go with an
Mm.
investment broker. But you could use a bank, definitely. It's best to go with a broker who would teach you what it is that you need to understand so that you can make a decision. Don't let people make decisions for you. Let them teach you and you make an informed decision, because if the market crashes and you lose the money, it's you who's going to be suffering, it's not them. So don't let
Yeah.
anybody tell you do this, do that. Let them teach you what it is that needs to be done, and then you make the decision for yourself, because it's your money, it's your
Mhm.
future, it's your retirement. They're going to make commissions anyway, so they might just be selling you stuff because it's the highest commission earning thing that they have. It's not necessarily because that's what's best for you. So let them teach you, let them tell you what it is you need to know. Ask questions, and if you're not comfortable with what somebody's explaining to you, put them to the side, find somebody else to explain it to you.
So
Yeah.
surrounding
So
yourself with good and valuable information is important.
it is, yeah, it
Mm.
is. And
Okay.
there are the people who will give you bad information, the people who will give you good information, but we have a sixth sense. Something doesn't feel right. Trust it and find out what it is that doesn't feel right. If it
Mm.
doesn't settle with you, don't settle for it. Just you need to make the decision for yourself. You need to be conscious enough to know that, okay, this person has my best interest at heart and this person is telling me this thing because you know it. You just trust your intuition, trust your sixth sense, trust it. It's there for a reason. And not everybody can develop that, but you need to use it to your advantage. So
That's true.
building the board, like I said, you need to be living on less than you need to be saving at least 15% of your income towards a retirement goal, a long-term investment planning thing. You need to, I don't know how religious everybody is right here, but the Bible says, and I'm sure if you're Muslim, the other things in the Quran that say something about giving to God or giving to the universe or giving back. You need to be generous with your time, with your money. You need to be using some of your money just to give, and it's not for something that you're expecting a payback for. That one is
Yeah.
paying for a service. It's just giving. Christians talk about 10% tithes. Catholics, sorry, not Catholics, but Christians, they talk about tithing for 10%. I heard somebody talking about a certain sect of the Muslim religion that's a Shia. I'm not very sure about it, but they said you need to give like 20% of your increase, which is like whatever is left after your normal expenses. So, but every single religion talks about something. Every single worthwhile religion talks about something in the field of giving. It's there for a reason. It doesn't make mathematical sense that you're trying to save money, but they're saying you should give. But the thing is, giving opens up a
Yeah.
channel for you to receive.
That's
Giving
true.
opens a channel for receiving. I've heard
I think that
countless.
shows true abundance because you're giving, but then you know that whenever you ask, whether through prayer or even asking people for help, you are seeing yourself as worthy of receiving. So you make the money work for you.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a slave to it. This is how I picture it anyway.
Yeah, yeah. So the Bible, if I want to go with it in terms of the Bible tells you to give every 10% of your increase to God in tithe. God wants you to be prosperous.
Mm.
He's asking for 10%. He's not asking for 10% and expecting you to not make money. He's expecting you to make a lot of money. And he's given you He's given you, I'm going into religion right now, but I think it's very important for people to realize that the universe gives you what you ask of it. Whether you're calling it religion, or you're calling it God, or you're calling it Allah, or you're calling it the universe, or you're calling it nature, it gives you what you ask of it. And you need to have that desire to know, this is what I want. This is what I plan to do with it. Show me how to get it. And it's going to come to you. Open up yourself and be ready to receive. And part of being open is allowing yourself to say, you know what? I'm also going to give. So giving opens up a channel for receiving. It's very spiritual, and I want people to go in and read on certain things about that. If you
No,
haven't
I
been
do agree
giving,
with you.
you need to start
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the pay yourself first, which is the 15%. There's a 10%, 10 to 15% of your income, which you should just be giving away, just
Mm.
giving. And then you living on the rest of that income. Style yourself, your lifestyle to fit
Mm.
within the rest of your income. That
Yeah.
means you need to go in and look at your budget and look at what are the things that I'm spending my money on. Why am I spending my money on those things? Is it because I want to impress people? Is it because I really need it? Or it's just become a habit. I don't even have control over this thing. And habit is really, we might want to overlook it a little bit, but habit really is very powerful, and it
Yeah.
takes over. Think about when you get out of bed, you always get out of the on the same side of your bed. Your brain does that. You don't even think about it anymore. You
True
always do the
that.
first five things every single morning. The first five things you do is always the same thing. When you get into the shower and you're getting out, you're always stepping out the same leg out of the shower without
I
even
don't even think
thinking.
about it. Yeah.
You don't even think about it exactly. That
Yeah.
is how habits are formed. And over the years, the certain things that we started doing, the first time you did it, you probably thought about it. The second time, you probably thought about it. But the way our brains work, every time you do something, the brain memorizes it and makes it easier for the next time. It's like driving a car. When you started driving a car, when you started learning how to drive a car, you had to pay attention and do exactly what needed to be done. But right now, you can start your car while talking on the phone, and it doesn't even occur to you that you're driving. You can drive to
True.
work without even thinking. You just know that, okay, I go like this, I go like that. Your brain has taken those instructions that you've given to it and made it easier for you to make them, so you don't even think about it. So
Yeah.
why I'm bringing this in is because we have the habit of being bad with money. We have the habit of impulse buying. We have the habit of overspending. We have the habit of saying yes to everybody and everything. We don't have any boundaries. We have those habits of feeling guilty when we say no to people, but boundaries really come from a place of love. It doesn't come from a place of hate. It doesn't come from any of those places. So you need to be okay with yourself deep down. Know what it is you need. Know why it is you're doing those things. And then you make your decisions, put them on paper. You can live on less than on about 75% of your income. You're able to live on that. You just need to be intentional, put your numbers on paper, tell yourself, I'm going to do this. And then you do it. Put a plan. And you tell yourself, if I fall into this trap, it's okay. It's a mistake. I'm not going to stay there. I'm going to get up and keep trying because it gets easier. It gets easier.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Yeah. Exactly. Thank you, Tendai. And Bella has been commenting as well that there are different forms of giving, which I agree, because you, for example, just giving us your time and all of this value, is a way of giving. You're not
Mm-hmm.
asking for anything. It's the time we're using, and just knowing that, hey, it may help someone, even if it's just one person out there. And I believe it's a big
Yeah.
form of giving, that when you're doing it for free, and I've seen your videos even on your Facebook page, the effort you
Yeah.
put, the energy you put out there, and you take time to answer the questions, and you're so humble. So honestly, I feel that you're doing a great job at that, of giving. And
Thank you.
yeah, I'm truly grateful for even having you here. Honestly, it's amazing. And so if I came to you as a client right now, um, how would we go about? What do you help with? And how do
So
we
I
go about it?
so I help with on an individual basis. I help with you taking this journey on your own because it comes down to you rediscovering yourself, and identifying where your money has been going, why it's been going that way, and what are your long-term goals, and how you put those things on paper and you follow them. So I help with getting you on a plan. So we set up your budget for you. If you're in debt, we do a debt snowball, meaning that this is how much debt you have. This is how long it's gonna take for you to pay it off, and what are the places that you can find money within your lifestyle based on what's important to you. What are the things that you should stop doing? What are the things you should start doing in order to meet this long-term goal that you have? So it's really personalized. I will give general information in forums like this, but every single person has a different thing that's of importance to them. So
This
it
is
really
true.
comes
Yeah.
down to one-on-one, what's your goal? Because I believe this, every person put on this universe has a purpose, and it's only you that can fulfill that purpose. We are
Yeah.
all creators, but we've become consumers. We are all creators. When God created the universe, He made everything by talking. He said, let there be this, and let there be that, and let there be that. When He came to man, He took His hands, He molded it from mud. And He didn't just say, let this man
Yeah.
live. No, He breathed His life into it. He put Himself into it. Means you are a mini God. You have what God has. I made you in
We
my
have
image and
creative
likeness.
abilities. Yeah.
Yes,
If we
I
only
made
look.
you in my image and likeness. Go out and create. And we come here and we don't create. We come here and we consume, and we sit down and we say life is hard. You've never
Yeah.
tapped into your deeper self to say, why was I put on this universe? What is it that I'm
Ex-
here to do?
Yeah.
So when you're struggling financially and you have no idea what the future holds, you don't even, when you're struggling financially, it's like somebody trying to breathe and you're telling the person you should be worried about the car that's, what kind of car you should drive. No. When you're in debt and you have no plan for your money and things like that, it's like you're just struggling to breathe. But you need to take back control, get back your breath, put yourself in a position where you are in control, and then you say, okay, what is it I need to be doing? How do I tap into my inner self and to the universe and all the forces that are out there for me to tap into so that I can create, I can fulfill the purpose for which I was put on this planet?
Yeah.
Everybody has that. We need to tap in, but we can't if we're blocked by finances and we're blocked by trying to keep up. We're blocked by things that don't even matter. When we die, we're going to leave everything here. But what's going to stay is your legacy. What is it that you did when you were here? How did you impact people?
Yeah, it's the legacy, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, I see all of us because when we get to that place, and most of the time, purpose comes out of experience.
Mm-hmm.
You experience something, you overcame it, and God, I'm going to use God here, the universe, our creator had a reason for us going through that and knowing that we would overcome. And then we
Mm-hmm.
see it as a choice, choosing happiness. And how does happiness happen? When you take control, knowing that there's
Yeah.
only so much you have control of at the same time,
Yeah.
but then the little aspects of your life that you can take control of make all of the difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's
And
one
Coach
thing,
Bella, yeah,
the only thing you can control in this whole universe is you. That's the
is
only
it
thing you can
is you.
control. You have no
Yeah.
control over anything that happens around you, but you have control over how you choose to react to it. Only
Mm,
that's the only thing.
yeah.
A lot of people, we have all this stimuli coming at us from different directions, and at every single instance, you have the power to choose. Most people think that things just happen and then there's a reaction. But the thing is, when something happens, before a reaction, there's a little space in there. That's the space where God has led you to say, how am I using this thing to affect what happens next? We never
Yeah.
stop to think about what happens here. And that's the point where you need to find your purpose. That's bad things are going to happen to people, bad things are going to happen to you, and they're going to happen to me. You can either take that and make something out of it, or you can just let it defeat you, and then you're like, okay, life is hard, and you just stay there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'm happy. The thing is, every conversation I have these days, not every, of course, but then when I have it, because I believe I'm at this stage in my life where I'm meeting a lot of people who are spiritual, because at the end of the day, we just know that, you know, when I'm spending money these days, I'm transferring to someone, for example, I'm like, money is just energy, you know?
Yeah,
Money
it
is
is.
just energy. This is it. But it is just energy. And allowing it into our experience, allowing that state of flow to kick in. You know, you mentioned that inflow and outflow, and flow is in there somewhere. So allowing
Yeah.
just the flow to kick in and not rioting with yourself. You also mentioned that rioting with yourself when you're not able to set boundaries
Yeah.
with yourself, because it's only yourself. And boundaries, you know, when I started learning about boundaries, at first it was about defense. You know, I need to set boundaries here, there. But then as I was growing in my healing, boundaries started to come closer to me. So it's how I
Mm-hmm.
practice it with myself. It's how I love myself. That's what matters. That's really
Yeah.
the only thing you can have control over is yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is it. You know,
Yeah.
I just love how we just end up with this conversation that it's really about yourself.
It is about yourself because
Yeah.
here's the thing, when we're talking, going back to the money talk, we come from, we know the background we come from, we're from Africa, and truth be told, there's a lot of struggling around us. And yes, a lot of people are going to come at you. I know there are coaches in Africa there, so I'm in the forum and I'm including you in this conversation. A lot of people will come at you and they're expecting of your resources. But you need to have planned for what it is you're giving. And when you
Mm.
reach at that boundary and you say, this is what I'm giving, when you get there, you say, okay, I can't anymore because you know. So in terms of like a money boundary, if you tell yourself every single month I'm gonna give $500 for something, and you're letting the universe bring those people to you, some people are gonna take advantage of you. Truth be told, there's a difference between enabling and helping. Some people will come to you because they know that you're that person that's going to enable their bad behavior.
And
You
this is
have
it.
to, yeah.
Yeah.
The people, I know there are people who have asked me for money just because they think I'm going to give it, and I say no. And there are people who might not even ask, but I am moved to give because I know this person needs, this person is in front of me at this time for a reason. And I'm going to do that. But there are people who would, you know that somebody was going to come at you and ask you for money, and just because you don't want to say no, because every time like something in you is uncomfortable with saying no, but you need to
Mm.
know this is me, that's you, that doesn't affect me. This boundary here, from a place of love, I can't give you that money because when I'm giving it to you, I'm just enabling you, but I could teach you
Yeah.
what to do so that you can overcome this by yourself. You empower the person. Instead of giving handouts, we're so used to getting handouts or giving handouts in certain instances that we kind of think that we're entitled to those handouts. But you're not. It's not your
Mm.
obligation to take care of the whole village. It's not. You can pick and choose strategic people,
True.
strategic, it's strategic. Say you want to impact a certain village, for example, and you see that there's this kid in that village who has potential. And maybe you're that catalyst that's needed to make this kid move from that position to a position where they also can fulfill their purpose and be a blessing to this whole community.
Yeah.
What you need to do is pick that kid out and say, you know what, I'm going to take care of this thing for you so that you
This is
can
it.
rise up above this difficulty you're having so that you can be the blessing to the other people. You can't go and give handouts to the whole village, but you can be strategic about your giving.
Yeah.
And you can only do that if you are intentional and you say, this is my money. This is how best can I use this money to be a blessing to somebody. And you let the universe come to you and you have the money there waiting so that when it happens, you have you are the blessing that's being awaited to impact that situation in a different way, not in the way that you think you have to, but in the way that the universe needs you to.
Mm-hmm.
But before you can start to even think about things like that, you have to be in a place where you are ready to fulfill those purposes, financially ready, emotionally ready, psychologically ready to fulfill those purposes. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I love how, because I was at a place in my life where someone helped me even when I didn't ask for it. They saw that I needed help and they helped me. So my prayer always is to see people who actually need the help and I'm able
Mm-hmm.
to give it to them. This is it. And realizing again that everyone is at different stages of their lives and their journeys. So I'm not there to help everybody.
Yes.
I'm not here to be a savior.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for that. You know, that trusting the inner guidance and it's just paramount. It's the most important.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how can we reach you, Coach Ida?
I'm on Facebook. I'm everywhere. So on Facebook.
Yeah, you can just tap on her name and then send her a message. Yeah.
Exactly. So you can reach me on Facebook. Just click on my page. It's Ida SFO Financial Coaching. You click there and you can. My WhatsApp number is right there. You can send me a message. It comes directly to my phone that's in front of me. You can reach me by Messenger on Facebook. You can reach me on my website. At one point also I had a free 14-day try, a 14-day money finder thing that I was giving out for people. Not a lot of people came to me, but a few people who did, they called me and they said, "Oh my God, Ida, this thing really helped me. You have no idea."
Wow.
It's a 14-day money finder thing which helps you to rediscover on your own where your money goes. You start to examine your finances in a different way. I'm just going to throw out a little example out there. There's the subscription services we have. There's Netflix, there's Hulu, there's Amazon, and there's all those things. And you have cable TV. It's all
Mm.
subscription, it's all TV. Why do you need five different ones? And how do you even watch TV? Do you even
I
sit
canceled
down and
some
watch TV?
subscriptions recently. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you even sit down to watch TV, or are you more the kind of person who likes watching movies? Me, I'm a movie person. I don't want to waste my time sitting there to watch TV. So I'm kind of a movie person because when I want to watch, if I have an hour in a day and I say I want to watch something for this hour, I don't want it to be a random thing. I want it to be something that I went out and found. So I do
Yeah.
have Netflix, which would be okay. It's my hour of entertainment and I go put it there. But what so if you only watch Netflix and or if you only get to watch TV once a week, why do you have cable? Why do you
Mm.
have Hulu TV? Why do you have all those ones when you don't need all of them? Right. So there's those kind
Absolutely.
of things that you start to examine. Say you have a home telephone. Who calls you on that thing? Who calls you on a home phone? Who do you call on a home phone? Everybody right now has a cell phone and everybody uses WhatsApp to call people. Do you even use that phone? Why do you still have it? Why are you paying for it every single month? So those are the kind of things that we kind of examine in there. So my 14-day trial was taking you every single day. I was sending you an email and you would go in there. It's just every day you get a task. Each day has a little task and you need to do the task because if you don't do it at the end of the day, you say it doesn't work. But you need to do the
Yeah.
task. Take you examine your finances. Day one, you just check, you do this. Day two, you do this. By the end of it, you see how much money you have saved just by re-examining your everyday, re-examining your finances. And then you begin to see, oh my God, this I found in 14 days. What else can I find in a year? How soon can I
Mm.
get to the level that I
I
need to
see.
be in order to start doing this thing? So it was really, it's still there. I took it off from the free version because a lot of people were not really using it. So I'm like, you know what? It's not free anymore. So
So you
I
have it
took
right
it off.
now?
I have it.
Okay.
It's on my website. So idaazefo.com. If you just click there, there's a pop-up that comes. You need to put in an
Okay.
email there, and then yeah, it's still there. But you can reach me on you can reach me by email. You can reach me on Facebook, Messenger, WhatsApp. I'm available everywhere.
Mhm.
Um, there's a time difference, so I might not respond to you right away. But the thing is, within 24 hours, you will hear from me essentially. So
Yeah, thank
yeah,
you so much. And Tendai says thank you as well. It was very helpful. It was. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, I just loved how, and I just want you to add one more thing about, you know, your services, how they are, because I know that a lot of people fear, especially coaches and all of that, they fear even booking free sessions with them because they're scared. I don't know, there's that fear attached to even contacting a coach, for example, and telling them they need help with something because they're scared maybe their prices are going to be exuberant and all of that. So, like, do you
yeah.
have a free session you do or anything like that you can tell that you can maybe direct someone to go to?
Right now, like I mentioned, I used to do a lot of free sessions and then I kind of
Mhm.
pulled back. But here's the thing, if anybody in this forum for the coaching for African women, anybody in this group, if you reach me and you say, Ida, I'm from this group, I'm going to do you a 15-minute free session. If you reach and you say, I'm from this group, I'll give you a 15-minute free session and let's just talk and you see. And just one thing to throw in there, it takes it takes a big person to acknowledge that I don't know this thing. Teach me.
Mhm.
It takes a big person to do that. So when you come to a coach, what you're feeling in there and saying, I feel shame, you shouldn't be feeling that because you have gone beyond that level of shame and you're saying to yourself, I've acknowledged right now I need help. Show me. There's no shame in that. There's no shame in it. And any coach who is worthy of being called a coach knows that confidentiality is a big thing. You can't judge somebody based on what they're telling you. You can't judge somebody, or you can't go talk about what somebody tells you in a private session. You can't go talk about that anywhere else. So you shouldn't
Yes.
have any fear reaching out to a coach or reaching out to me to say, okay, this is my situation. What do you think I should be doing? How can I help? Do you think financial coaching can be a thing I need? Can it help me?
Mm.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for that. That was amazing. I actually had fun. I don't even know how long we've spent, but it was an amazing time. Thank you so much, Coach Ida. And even Bella says thank you. And everyone, I'm sure, enjoyed. And if you're here on replay, just put hashtag replay and you can contact Coach Ida via her Facebook page or even her personal account. You can send her a message. And don't
Mhm.
forget to add that you are here from you're there from Coaching for African Women, and yeah, she will give you the free 15-minute session, and I'm sure it's going to be amazing. Thank you so much, Coach Ida. We loved having you
Thank you
here.
for having me, Nafisah.
And
Thank you so
we
much.
hope to see more of your, thank you too, we hope to see more of your live videos. I'm going to be there more often now, yeah, because I'm learning a lot from you. And Judith says
Yeah.
amazing session as well, so thank you.
Thank you so much. Those live videos, I do them every 2 weeks. So
Okay.
every other Saturday, same time. So it's
Yeah.
usually 11 a.m. Eastern time, which is right now 4 p.m. your time.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm gonna change the schedule, I let people know ahead of time, but it's always Saturdays, every other Saturday, 11 o'clock Eastern time. On The Reason You're
Cool.
Broke. That's the name of the show. The Reason You're Broke.
Yeah, I've seen that. Like, okay, I want to see. I want to see it. Yeah, it was amazing.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
And do have a lovely day. My regards to your kids and family.
Thank you. You too.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye now.
Bye, guys.